Namo Buddhaya and a very warm welcome, dear Dhamma friends, to our Sunday Dhamma sharings under our Dhamma Dana lecture series. I'm Brother Eric. I'll be your host for today. Okay, we are privileged to have with us Bhante and Samitha Thera from Connecticut, USA, as our speaker for today. Let us now bring Bhante Samitha online. Namo Buddhaya and Sukhi Hotu, Bhante.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Bhante. Okay, let me do a short introduction on Bhante Samitha. Okay. Venerable N. Samitha was originally from Gampaha, Sri Lanka, and is currently living in Connecticut, USA. Volunteering at a Buddhist community. Bhante received a first-class honor bachelor degree from the University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka, specializing in Pali in 2015. He was then appointed as an assistant lecturer at the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies, Faculties of Art, University of Peradeniya. Bhante has graduated from the Harvard Divinity School, Cambridge, USA, with a Master of Theological Studies degree in 2018. Today's topic is entitled Sava Sutta, how to deal with defilement that intoxicate our mind. With that, we welcome Bhante to deliver today's Dhamma sermon.
Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Eric, for the introduction and hosting today's program. So I'm very happy and I'm very honored to be here today giving a Dhamma talk. So this is my second time. So it is going to be on Sabbasava Sutta today. The topic is how to deal with defilements that intoxicate our mind. Otherwise, how to deal with the distractions, how to deal with taints. So according to the Sabbasava Sutta, based on Sabbasava Sutta, I'm going to give you a talk. So this sutta Buddha delivered when he was in Savatthi. There was a monastery called Jetavana offered by Anathapindika. So Savatthi was a rich city actually. So that is very interesting. So the meaning, one of the meanings of Savatthi is Sabbang Attiti Savatthi. So Savatthi had everything. It was a very rich city. It flowed with, milk and honey. So it was a land of richness. So it was a very luxurious city that Buddha was living. That's why it is called Savatthi. And the monastery, it was offered by Anathapindika. His name is also, interesting because he was called Anathapindika because he was a generous person. Anathanam pindam dadati ti Anathapindiko. So he gave, heap of rice, heap of food for poor people who were in poverty, like orphans, helpless people, homeless people. So he took care of many helpless people. So in the sense of, giving heap of rice, heap of food, he was called Anathapindika. So such a great name. Otherwise, his original name was Sudassana or something, Sudassi or Sudassana. But he was famous as Anathapindika because he was very generous and he was the chief devotee, supporter, chief supporter of the Buddha Sasana. So he was such a great person. So when the Buddha was in Savatthi, then Buddha wanted to deliver this sutta. Okay, sometimes Buddha gives Dhamma talk because he was invited by people. Sometimes at night deities come to the Buddha and ask questions. Then Buddha, depending on the questions that was raised, then he gives a Dhamma talk. Sometimes something comes from the gathering, from the assembly of the Dharma hall. So Buddha walks from his room to the Dharma hall, then monks are talking about something. Then Buddha asks monks, what were you talking about? Then monks reply with the thing that they were talking about. Then depending on what they were talking about, Buddha gives a speech. But this Sabbasava Sutta, Buddha himself think that, okay, I should teach this sutta to the monks for the benefit for the whole world. Okay, so this is not by invitation. This is not by any questions raised. This is Buddha's own intention. Then Buddha addresses the gathering monks. I am going to teach you a discourse on the restraints of all taints. Sabba sava. So sabba means all. Asava means taints or distractions, defilements. I am going to teach you this sutta because it will be very beneficial for you to know how to deal with these things, because the asavas, the defilements, they intoxicate your mind, they distract your mind. So it is very good to know how to deal with these defilements. And especially, this is very interesting, Buddha says, so the destructions of all taints is for the one who knows and sees. That is very, very important. So only if someone knows and sees, then Buddha says the destruction of all taints, is for them, who know and who see. If you do not see, if you do not know, so that can never happen to you. The destructions of taints, you can never destroy them. You can never do away with the defilements, the taints. So you have to know and you have to see. So what's the question next then? So you have to see or you have to know. So what you have to know? What do you have to see? Then Buddha says, wise attention and unwise attention. So you might have heard this word in Pali, yoniso manasikara and ayoniso manasikara. So these are the two words. Okay. So if you know and see yoniso manasikara and ayoniso manasikara, you will be able to destroy all the taints. You will be able to deal with taints. If you do not see, if you do not know, wise attention and unwise attention, so this is not for you. Okay, so first of all, we have to clarify what these words mean. Wise attention, yoniso manasikara. Unwise attention, ayoniso manasikara. What do they mean? So when wise attention means you attend to something wisely, with wisdom. You are mindful. You have the awareness. So if you are lack of wisdom, awareness, mindfulness, so you cannot attend to something wisely. So when you attend wisely, so the arisen defilements, when you attend to something, the arisen defilement, so you are not going to increase them. There are already arisen defilement in you. Things like hatred, jealousy, desire, craving for things. Those are, arisen defilement, arisen taints in you. So when you attend unwisely, so you are going to increase them. But unarisen defilement, unarisen taints, so they are going to arise. So when you attend unwisely, so that is one thing. If you attend unwisely to something, then it is going to be unarisen defilement arising. And arisen defilement, they increase. So that is not a good thing. So that is why you have to attend things wisely. So when you attend things wisely with wisdom, when you are mindful all the time, when you are with awareness, then what happens? Then unarisen defilement, unarisen taints do not arise. It is because you are attending to something with wisdom, attending wisely. So unarisen taints, they are not going to arise. And already arisen taints, even though you attend wisely, there are taints that are already there in you. So you are going to abandon them. You are going to destroy them because you are attend with mindfulness, with wisdom. So that is what yoniso manasikara and ayoniso manasikara. So make sure when you attend to something wisely, so there is not any, unarisen taints, going to be arising. And arisen taints you are going to destroy if you attend wisely. But if you attend unwisely, that is, otherwise. So the unarisen taints going to be arising, and already arisen taints going to be developed. Okay, they are going to be increasing. So this is very important, these two words, yoniso manasikara and ayoniso manasikara. So those who know these two, wise attention and unwise attention, then he is capable of destroying all the taints. So Buddha says that this is normally Buddha talking about every possible taints that anyone can have. Okay, there are different ways that taints can occur in you. There are, there may be different shapes that they appear in front of you. So you have to, prepare yourself to recognize them. That's why you need wise attention and unwise, wise attention, and to get rid of unwise attention. If you are still with unwise attention, you cannot recognize them. So wise attention is very important. That's why the Buddha say, I only, proclaim the destruction of all the taints for those who see and know what? See and know what? That is wise attention and unwise attention. So there are different ways that the taints can occur, that the taints can happen. So Buddha talks about 7 ways that we can deal with all the 10s. So the first one, Atti bhikkhave asava dassana pahatabba. So there are 10s, so they should be abandoned. They should be destroyed by seeing. So how can we destroy 10s by seeing? So you have to see it. So here it is going to be about 3 kind of asavas. So those are kama asava, sensual desire. That's the 10. Okay, so you always try to satisfy your 5 sensory organs. That is an asava, that is attained. So we are going to talk about kama asava here. And bhava asava, habitual tendencies, habitual behavior. Okay, when you have craving for things, then you do it all the time. You develop your craving. So when you develop your craving, it becomes a habitual behavior. So that is bhava, asava. So we have kama asava, sensual desire, and bhava asava, habitual behavior, habitual tendency. And the other thing is avijja asava, ignorance. So what does ignorance mean? You are ignorant. It means you do not know and see the Four Noble Truth. Chaturya Satya. You do not know and see Chaturya Satya, Four Noble Truths. So in this section, Buddha says, in order to deal with these 10s, you have to see clearly. You have to know clearly. Only by seeing you can, destroy the 10s. Otherwise, you cannot. So whenever the word wisdom, wise, is talked about in Buddhism, it actually means the knowledge, the wisdom of paticca samuppada. That is very important. Okay, whenever you say the word wisdom or wise attention in Buddhist terminology, it talks about the knowledge, the knowing of paticca seeing of paticca knowing of what, seeing of what, the process of all the things, process of our sensual experience. So with our 6 sensory doors, we experience the world through our eyes, nose, ears, tongue, body, mind. We experience the world. Okay, so we have to look at that experience depending on paticca samuppada. That is a process. So if you see the process, if you understand the process, so that is wise attention. Suppose when you experience the world through your eyes, with your eyes, you see things, right? Suppose craving occurs because you see something very beautiful, very adorable. You see something very beautiful. Then, craving occurs in you. Then what happens? Okay. When the craving occurs, what happens? Then you try to, then all the thoughts of you, all your thoughts, all your concepts, all your ideas, all your opinions. So everything comes into play depending on that craving. So you think. So you have concepts, you have ideas on that. So then what happens? When you have ideas, opinions, thoughts, depending on craving occurred in you, then the very big idea of I idea is very big, but it is very bad. Okay, the idea of I, okay, that is what I think, that is what my opinion is. So that is my idea about this. So this I, the concept of I, that is mine, that is I am. So this concept of I comes depending of that craving, because you experience the world with your eyes, then craving occurs. Depending on craving, you have ideas, thoughts, concepts, and everything. So led by those thoughts and ideas and concepts, the bigger idea of I, myself, my, then that came into being. So that is the process, right? If you do not know and if you do not see, that is how you are going to end it up with. That is how it happens. If you do not see clearly, if you do not attend wisely, so it starts with craving. Now you are with that big idea of I, myself, that is me, I am right, you are wrong. So that idea comes depending on that craving. So you did not attend wisely, so because of craving, now you have kind of habitual tendency, habitual behavior, okay, taking everything personally. That is mine, that is my idea, I am correct, you are wrong. Likewise, you have that wrong view about things. Because of that, you develop your habitual tendency, habitual behavior. So led by habitual behavior, bhava. Because of bhava, then you have jati. You are born again because you created a place for you to be born again. Because of jati, then you have all soka, parideva, dukkha, domanassa, upayasa, all the sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, and mental pain, distress, despair, everything is there. So see how it goes when you do not understand the process as it is. Then that is how you are going to end up with. The whole mass of suffering is there because you do not stop yourself, from interfering that process. When you had craving for things, so you let it develop. Now you have all these, sorrow, lamentation, pain, and everything. So whenever you hear the word wise, or wise attention or wisdom in Buddhism, it talks about knowing the paticca samuppada, the dependent origination. It talks about seeing the dependent origination. So that is why these two words are very important when you try to destroy the taints. You cannot destroy, you cannot get rid of the defilements, you cannot get rid of the taints if you are not attending wisely. So when you do not know and when you do not see, so what happened next? When you do not attend wisely, then what happens is you attend to things that are unfit for attention. That is one thing. Okay, you do not know, you do not see, then what happens? You attend to things that are unfit, that are not suitable, that are not appropriate for attention. That happens a lot. Asare saramatino. In Dhammapada, you find that Pali stanza, Pali verse, Asare saramatino. We have the idea that, oh, it is good, but there is no goodness in that. Okay, you think that that is valuable, that is important, but there's no value or importance there. Asare saramatino. So you attend to things that are unfit for attention. That happens when you don't have wise attention. And the other thing is, you do not attend to things that are fit for attention. Such a harm. Okay, you should attend to that because it is that, beneficial. But because of your ignorance, because of you are being, unwise, because of your lacking of wisdom, then you do not attend to that. Okay, you really miss it. Okay, there are practices like meditation and those things, right? If you want to attain nibbana, so you have to meditate. So that is something fit for your attention. Okay, your breath. Or let's take loving kindness as a meditation subject. So there are things that are fit for attention, but because you are blind, because you are ignorant, then you miss it. You neglect it. You don't care about that. You only attend to things that are unfit for attention. Okay, so then that is not going to be beneficial. So you miss it. So that's why you have to know, and that's why you have to see. Okay, so these are the three things in this section. So you have to see in order to destroy them. So kamasava, bhavasava, avijjasava. When you attend to something, if it develops, kamasava. If it develops, bhavasava, avijjasava, then you should not attend to that thing. So you have to see. So you have to understand this is sensual desire. This is habitual tendency. This is bhava. This creates my bhava. This is ignorance. Okay, it keeps me blind. I have to get rid of this ignorance. Okay, so if those taints are developed when you attend to something, so you should abandon that thing by seeing. You can only do that by seeing. There is no other way. You really have to know and see, then get rid of that. Then finally you attend wisely. This is suffering. Now we are talking about Four Noble Truths. So this is the first section we are talking about. At the beginning I said Buddha taught 7 ways of dealing with taints. So this is the first category. So there are taints that should be abandoned by seeing. That's the first section. Okay, so in this section you have to attend wisely. This is suffering. You have to understand this is suffering. Okay, so we talked about many things like sorrow, lamentation, aging, taking birth in different realms. So that is suffering. So you have to understand, you have to attend wisely. This is suffering. You have to see that. If you do not see suffering as suffering, so you are in trouble. You have to see that. We are still, wandering around roaming about the sansaric existence because we don't see suffering as suffering. We don't see suffering as it is. We sometimes take suffering as, comfort. That is because we are ignorant. So you have to attend wisely. This is suffering. This is the cause of suffering. Dukkha samudaya satya. So there is suffering and there is a cause for that. And this is the cessation of suffering. So this is how I am going to end my suffering. You have to see that as well. And you have to finally attend wisely. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Dukkha nirodha gamini patipada ariya satya. So those are the Four Noble Truths. So you have to understand something. Looking at suffering, this is suffering. You have to figure it out. This is the cause of suffering. You have to find the cause of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. Okay, so I can end my suffering. And this is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. So this is how I have to practice the Eightfold, Noble Eightfold path. You have to, develop in order to, terminate your suffering. So you have to see that. You have to know that. That's the only way to deal with the defilements, the taints, described in the first section. Karmasava, sensual desire. Bhavasava, habitual tendency, habitual behavior. And avijjasava, ignorance. So you have to deal with those things. You have to abandon those asavas by seeing. That's the first section. And the second thing, there are, asavas. There are taints that should be abandoned by restraining. What you have to restrain? Nothing other than your 5 sensory organs. Of course, 6 sensory organs, including your mind. Okay, so you live with, eye faculty restrained. You live with your, ear faculty restrained, and nose faculty restrained, body faculty restrained, mind faculty restrained. Without restraining, you have to take the control over all those sensory organs. Because we don't have control over these sensory organs, so we are really in trouble, because we are chasing after, all the things. We always want to satisfy. That is all we are working on, right? Satisfy our 5 sensory organs, 6 sensory organs. Okay, you can think to yourself. Go sit somewhere at the end of the day, so you can realize, oh my goodness, all I did, for the purpose of satisfying my sensory organs throughout the day. There is nothing I have practiced to control my sensory organs, to develop my mind. I haven't meditated enough. I haven't, contemplated on Dhamma enough in order to attain Nibbana. Throughout the day, I just did the things that, feed the 5 sensory organs, the 6 sensory organs. So there is a nice teaching in Bahya Daruchirya Sutta. So Buddha gave a teaching to Bahya Daruchiri, very short teaching with a stanza. It was only 4 lines. Buddha said, Ditte dittamattam bhavisati, Sute sutamattam bhavisati, Mute mutamattam bhavisati, Vinyate vinyatamattam bhavisati. So in the scene, just the scene. So whatever you see, that's it. You don't have any hope. You don't have any expectations. But what happens? Whenever you see things, so you work on the desire that occurs. for them. Okay, you work on the craving that you have for them. When you see things, when you hear things, when you listen to things, when you smell, when you taste, when you have touch with your body, when you have contact with your body, what happens? You let craving develop. Craving occurs. That happens, but you have to stop it from developing. You have to stop it from going forward, because we are not wise enough, so it develops itself. So you have to keep your 5 sensory organs restrained, as Buddha advised to Bahir Daruchirya. Okay, in the seen, just the seen. In the heard, just the heard. In the sensed, just the sensed. In the cognized, just the cognized. Vinyate, vinyatamatham bhavisati. So we have a lot of experience through our 6 sensory doors. So it is just the seen, the heard, the sensed, and the cognized. That's it. You are not going after them. Okay, you just experience, you understand the process. You're not taking anything personally. You always interrupt the process. You try to take things personally, like bringing that idea of my, I, mine, myself. So you interrupt the process. That natural process is not any longer there when you bring up the idea of I, or my, or myself. So you have to restrain your 6 sensory organs, 6 faculties, in order to deal with those stains, such as craving, lust, desire. That's the second thing. Okay, the first thing we have to abandon by seeing. This we have to abandon by restraining. And the third one is there are attains that should be abandoned by using. Oh, that is great. At least finally we got something to use, right? Otherwise, Bhante was talking about, like abandoning, removing, throwing away, discarding. Now, finally, we got something to use. Okay, let's see how we can use things. So, using means, in order to survive, right? In order to live, we have to eat. We have to, dress. We have to, build houses. We have to take medicines. So those are the main 4 requisites for everyone, I think. So that is 4 pachayas for monks. So 4-fold needs for monks: chivara, pindapata, senasana, gilana pachya. So when you use those things, so chivara means what you wear, right? So for laity, for lay people, you can think about your clothing. You can think about your dressing. So for us, it is our robe, chivara, pindapata, our alms food. For you, the things you cook for yourself at home. And senasana, for us, the monasteries, the huts in the wood, in forest, meditation huts or something. For you, it is your house. And medicine. So for us, you offer something, specially called gilana pache, okay, medicinal drinks. So you have many kind of medicines when you are sick. So those are the 5, main requisites for everyone. Okay, you have to use them. Okay, Buddha never says not to eat, not to wear things, not to take your medicine, not to live in a house, in a covered place. No, you have to use those things. You have to build a house for yourself. You have to eat. You have to, wear clothes. You have to take medicine. But whenever, so those are very dangerous as well. When you eat, when you wear, when you take your medicine, so when you live, at your home, there are a lot of taints. There are a lot of defilements. So think about eating. Okay, so how many obsessions you have with food, right? You have craving for food because you are kind of obsessed with the taste. Whenever you buy clothes for yourself, right, you look for attractive things. You look for sometimes expensive. You want to get only the famous brands. You are not going to wear cheap things. That's the thing that you get from clothes, and you need the most comfortable fabric for your clothes. You say, oh, this is uncomfortable, I can't wear this. You say that. So you look for the comfortable fabric for your clothes. So likewise, when you eat, when you wear, when you live at home, when you take your medicine, even medicine, right? Why we need medicine? We just need medicine to be healthy, right? To get rid of sicknesses, not to be diseased. But for what purpose in this modern world people use medicine? To maintain your physical beauty, right? So there are a lot of things like plastic surgeries and those stuffs. Okay, you have to maintain. So how many people die by because of overdose? See, even people use medicine for unnecessary purposes. Medicine is just there to take when you are sick, not to maintain your physical beauty that you can ever do. That has nothing to do with the reality. It has nothing to do with reality. Okay, you can't stop from aging. You can't stop yourself from dying, decaying, everything. All those things happen. So people tend to use medicine in order to stop that process. No, you can't do that. Sometimes you may die because of taking too much medicine. So Buddha says when you eat, especially for monk, we have something called paccavekkhana, like contemplation. So every day, at the end of the day, you have to go to the shrine and recite this paccavekkhana. I took food today. I use my robe. I use my resting place. I use my medicine for these purposes. I only use this for these purposes. So let's take food. Then patisankha yoniso pindapatang patisevami. For example, I use my food, I eat my food, nevadavaya, not for amusement. Namadaya, not for intoxication. Nevadavaya, namadaya, namandanaya, nabibhusanaya, not for for the sake of maintaining physical beauty, not to maintain attractiveness. Okay, yavadeva imasakaya satitya, just for the sake of endurance, just for the sake of continuance of this body, this physical body. That's why I am eating. Yapanaya vihinsuparatya. Vihinsuparatya, just to end the discomfort, the paining of my body. Yavadevi Masakaya Saditya Yapanaya Vihinsuparatya Brahmacharyanuggahaya, for assisting my holy life. I am eating because it assists my holy life, my celibacy life. Iti puranancha vedanam patihankami, navancha vedanam na upadisami. So considering that I shall terminate all pains that are already in my body, considering that I shall, stop, I shall avoid the new pains in my body. So that's the purpose of eating food. Not for the amusement, not for the intoxication, not for the attractiveness, to maintain your bodily attractiveness, not to maintain your bodily beauty, not for any of those, just for the endurance, just for the continuance, just for, remove the pain in the body. That's it. That's why you eat. So every day, at the end of the day, a monk has to contemplate on that. Otherwise, if a monk eats for physical beauty and to strength, to gain strength, to gain muscles, as a lot of lay people do, right? So that is not the purpose of eating. If you eat for that purpose, then the craving, lust, desire, anything can happen. So you cannot get away with taints. That's the problem. So that's the third thing. So there are 4 other things. So let me explain, briefly, because we are running out of time. So the 4th thing is we have to endure. We have to endure. Adivasana, there are taints that should be abandoned by enduring. What are those things? So when it is hot, warm, when it is cold, when it is windy, you have to endure. Otherwise, you cannot stop that, right? That is something comes from the nature. So you cannot complain. You cannot blame. So you have to endure those things. Sometimes hunger, thirst, cold, the sun, wind, creeping things, especially for monks when they live in the forest meditating, then the creeping things going, here and there around monks, they have to endure. Mosquitoes, flies, you can't complain. Because you cannot endure, then you are gonna build anger inside. Oh, I can't tolerate this. I am done with this. I am giving up my meditation, because you can't endure. So the same is with you. Okay, if you are not tolerant, then you are going to give up many things in your life that which is not good. So you have to remove some taints by enduring. That's the 4th thing. And the 5th thing, you have to endure things by avoiding. How you abandon taints? By avoiding. So what you have to avoid, the sutta says, a wild elephant, a wild horse, wild bull, snakes, bramble patches in the forest, pits, canyon, caves, cesspits, where you have the drains for disposal of liquid waste, right? You have drains underground. Okay, some people, they say that we are adventurers, we like adventures, so they challenge wild elephants. So I saw a video clip that is very disturbing. So there is a place in Sri Lanka called Udawalawa, very nice place. There is a very big lake, and around the lake you have herds of elephants there, wild elephants, but people give them food while they are going by, while they are passing by. They stop the vehicle and give them bananas, oranges and all those stuffs. one day a drunk person, okay, because he was heedless enough, because he was careless enough, because of his carelessness, he went under the electric fence, because there are electric fence for elephants to avoid them from coming to the road. That drunk man even went down the electric fence and tried to say some mantra or something in front of the elephant. Then he took the person with the trunk and thrashed and put on the ground, and I think he crushed to death. I think he almost got killed, as I saw in the video clip. Someone was filming as well. Okay, they tried to stop him, but he never listened to them. So you do that kind of adventures. You challenge wild animals. You wanna explore the caves. In America, there are incidences that people died inside caves because they wanted to explore. They want to go deep into the cave and say, I am the first person who made that into the cave. I went that deep. So he do not realize it is very like harmful for himself, until he realized there is no oxygen inside. Then he's too late. Sometimes rain comes. When it rains, the low areas get submerged, flooded. Then they die inside. So like that, there are things you have to, even bramble patches in the forest. So there is a clean path that you can use, but people want to try these patches where you have thick bushes and maybe snakes and many reptiles hiding underneath. You want to go through that because you are that brave, unnecessarily brave, and that adventurous. Because of that, you put yourself in trouble because you want to explore things other than avoiding the danger. Okay, then Buddha says, avoid things, then also you can get rid of taints. The other thing, sixth thing is removing things. So there are taints that should be abandoned by removing. What are those? So those are these three thoughts: Kama vitakka, Vyapada vitakka, Avihimsa vitakka. Vihimsa vitakka. So the thought of sensual desire, you have to remove. We talked about sensual desire even at the beginning of these sections, categories. So sensual desire is not a good thing. You have to eat. You have to, wear things. You have to build a house for yourself. You have to, use vehicles. Okay. You have to deal with your wealth and whatever the properties you have, but you don't have to, convert it to a desire. Okay. You don't have to convert it to a place where you develop your craving. Okay, you just use them. That's what the asava that should be abandoned by using, just for the sake of using. Otherwise, there is no further expectations. I just use them for the continuance of my life. That's it. I'm get the use of it. Then I get rid of that. I'm not carrying it. So the sensual desire, the thought of sensual desire, you have to remove. And the thought of ill will, that is very dangerous even for yourself and for others. When you develop ill will inside you, that is, as far as the living in the society is concerned, that is not good for yourself, because you are going to be recognized as a person with hatred, enmity, ill will. So you are kind of rejected by the society. You have to cultivate loving kindness, compassion. towards the society, towards the whole world. So you have to get rid of, you have to remove the thought of ill will. And the third one is the thought of cruelty, vihinsa. In the world, how cruel they are, some people, when you think about some parts of the world, right? So because of cruelty, people are suffering. You cause people, a lot of suffering because of cruelty. Then you have to remove those three things. Otherwise, you cannot destroy your taints. If you have the sensual desire, if you have the thought of ill will, if you have the thought of cruelty, then you are not going to be a person who do away with those things. So in the Sutta, Buddha says you don't tolerate them, you abandon it, you remove it, you do away with that, and you annihilate it. So nadivaseti, pajahati, vinodeti, bhyanti karoti, anabhavang gameti. All those three things. Nadivaseti, you do not tolerate. Pajahati, you abandon it. Vinodeti, you remove it. So bhyanti karoti, you do away with that. Anabhavang gameti, you annihilate that. So using 5 words, please totally remove that. See, Buddha used 5 words for that. Do not tolerate, abandon it, remove it, annihilate it, do away with that, get rid of that, discard that. So many words Buddha emphasizingly say you have to remove those 3 thoughts: sensual pleasure, thought of ill will, and thought of cruelty. And the last thing, so I'm going to wind up the Dhamma sermon with this. Okay, last thing, there are taints that you can abandon by developing. Okay, what are those? If you develop these things, then you can get rid of all the taints. So this is Sapta Bojjhanga Dharma, the 7 kind of enlightenment factors that help for your enlightenment. First one is sati, mindfulness. Second one is Dhamma Vichaya, the investigation of Dhamma. Viriya, energy. Piti, zest or rapture or enthusiasm. Then passaddhi, tranquility. Samadhi, concentration or one-pointedness. And upekkha, equanimity or the balanced mind. So when you develop sati, mindfulness, Dhamma Vichaya, investigation of Dharma, so with energy you meditate. Because of your energy put into your meditation, you feel enthusiastic, you have the zest, you have the rapture, which is piti. Because of piti you tranquilize your mind, then you gain tranquility in your mind. Because of tranquility, led by tranquility, you have one-pointedness. Samadhi, because of samadhi, you have upekkha, you have a balanced mind. So then you can get rid of all the taints by developing those sapta bojjhangas, 7 factors of enlightenment. So those are the 7 ways. So Buddha talks about every possible ways that people can have taints. So like every possible taints that anybody can have, so in this sutta. So you have to abandon things by seeing, by restraining, by using, by avoiding, by enduring, by removing, and finally by developing. So later I think you can go through those sections thoroughly, then you can learn more. So we have to think about time. That's why I explained them kind of in a rush. But we can, always read things and listen to another Dhamma talks if you want further clarification on those sections which I briefly explained. So I think that's it for today about Sabbasava Sutta. So may you all be deeply well and happy by the meritorious power you just acquired by listening to this Dhamma talk. May you all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana in no time. So if there are any, questions, so we can, answer those questions now.
Thank you, Bhante, for the excellent sharing. Okay. It seems here that we have several questions posted online for us. Okay, I will post it up on screen for Bhante and everyone to see.
Why it is very difficult to control your craving? Please explain, Bhante. Thank you. Yeah, so I think we can answer that question depending on today's Dhamma talk, right? Why, why is it difficult to get rid of craving? Because you don't have wise attention, right? So this is the thing. You have to think about the repercussions, right? Because you know Dhamma. If you are a person who do not know Dharma, so there is a tendency, like probability that you can like let craving develop. But if you are a person who know and see, now you know the results, right? Results of letting craving develop, right? You don't have to let it develop because it becomes a habitual tendency. Because of habitual tendency, then you are going to be born again, jati. Because of jati, then again decaying, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, every, all those, whole, mass of suffering is there. Then you have to think about the end result. When you think about the end result, when you put wisdom there and think about that, then you realize craving for things is not something we have to let be, right? You don't have to let it be. You have to clearly remove that. So think about the result. Think about the pain you are going to cause yourself in this samsaric existence. Okay, then control your five sensory organs. When you have the necessity of satisfying five sensory organs again and again, then craving is there. If you don't have that necessity, if you are a person, like I said in Bahya Daruchirya Sutta, in the scene, just the scene. You see things, that's it. You hear things, that's it. You eat things, you taste things, you feel things like good smells. You have, comfort, contact to your body. That's it. No expectations. When you try to expect them again and again, when you try to, bring them back to your, five sensory organs, like suppose you like something, in terms of food, you like to eat something a lot because of your craving. Because it is not good, then you can just stop. So attend wisely. So that's why listening to Dhamma is very helpful. So I think after listening to Sabbasava Sutta, you should try to cut off your craving. Yeah. Good evening, Venerable. We have many forms of expectation. When expectation is not met, we are disappointed or happy. When expectation is attained, we are happy when expectation is attained. Each expectation comes from the root of craving. Thank you. Okay, there is this thing. Sometimes you have to have expectations, goal. Something like in terms of attaining Nibbana. Right? So that is the ultimate goal we have. If you don't have expectation for that, so that's not gonna work out very well for you. So if you are a kid, you should have expectation, with regard to, educating yourself. If you are a, person who work, then you should have expectations. If you are a, professor at a university, then you have to have expectations. Okay, so we should have expectations, but you really, have to understand whether it is, causing you suffering. At the end of the day, all the expectation, worldly expectation, cause you, suffering. That's the thing. But it is good to have expectations with regard to those things, right? So I mean, you don't have to have expectations on satisfying your sensory organs, because then you are going to be caught up in your mental world that you created, right? If you really, always want to satisfy your five sensory organs, that's the only expectation you have, then you have to get rid of that. But still you can have expectations and work on them, which really are, beneficial for you. If it is not beneficial, so please get rid of that expectation. The second Bojjhanga is investigation of Dharma. Could you, Bhante, elaborate more on the second Bojjhanga? Yeah, so investigation Dharma means you have the thirst, right? So Buddha said, Dhamma, Dhammo sadang samang natti. Buddha says there is no medicine similar to Dharma, because it cures a lot of illnesses, such as what we talked about, all the suffering, sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, stress, okay, being born again and again, aging, death. So those are the sicknesses as far as the sansaric suffering is concerned. So that's the investigation of Dharma. That's the medicine. So you are thirsty. You have the thirst for what? To, kind of drink the medicinal drink of Dharma. So that's the investigation of Dharma. So you listen to Dharma talks, you try to practice whatever the bit you listen to, okay, without ignoring. So keep yourself busy, investigating Dharma. That's the meaning of that. Okay. How can mindfulness meditation reduce? I think that question, I think, was almost answered by the first answer. Yeah. So when you have mindfulness, then you do not let craving develop, right? Because you actually yoniso manasikara. That's a very interesting word, because what is yoni means in Pali? Yoni means the place that a woman give birth to a kid, right? Give birth to a child. That's the yoni, the genital parts of a woman that gives birth to a child. So manasikara, yoniso manasikara. So you catch it, you pay your attention as it is appearing. Okay, so you are not being late to recognize it. So at the very point that arises, you are going to catch it. So at the birthplace, you are not going to leave it kind of long and catch it. Then you are late. So at the birthplace, you are going to catch it. You are going to recognize it. So when craving develops, depending on food or contact or anything, because of your experience through five sensory doors, craving occurs, then you catch it at the very point that it occurs. That's how you be mindful. Then you reflect yourself. Okay, you try to see what is going on in my mind as I am experiencing the world. Then you see, oh, craving occurring, you are mindful enough to catch it, then you stop it from developing. Is our ambition to be successful in life a form of greed or craving? I think we talked about that as well, right? So you should have. It is not craving, right? Ambition. You should have an ambition. That's not bad. You have to work on that. Even the Prince Siddhartha had the ambition to be the Buddha, right? If he didn't have that ambition, we couldn't have, you know, you know, someone like Buddha. So Buddha, got his enlightenment because he had that ambition. So that is not a craving. But sometimes when you want to be successful in your life, or maybe that's a competition, okay, so then you have to think about that. Okay, so you are not trying to meet with your requisites. Okay, you want more than that. You want to be the top of everything. So that's kind of craving. If you try to support the continuance of your life, that's fine. Have to have ambition. So just to you know be satisfied with whatever you have. Otherwise you are not satisfied with things you have, but you already have enough things to survive this life, but still not satisfied. So that's the kind of ambition that has craving in it. Okay, if you just try to just survive, try to make meet with the requisites, the minimum requisites you want to live in this world without any problems, without causing trouble to others. So that ambition is very well. But there are ambitions more than that. So you have to be careful about those ambitions, because you are trying to go somewhere that you can never achieve, that you are not satisfied with. Is the craving is inevitable in my existence depends on all my past existence. If my enlightenment depends on my past mistakes. If I am craving at this moment, is this inevitable? Or is it possible to end craving now and end all suffering for me in samsaric existence? So that's a good question. So you don't have to worry about the past, right? So that is done. So you cannot do anything about the past now. Okay, whatever you did in previous existence, they are done. Okay, so you will have the karma vipak, good or bad, for the bad or good karma you did previously. But at the moment, you have to stay in the present. That's the most important thing. So we are kind of reluctant, we are kind of hesitant to go forward, because we have that you know heavy load in our on our shoulder. Or I might have done so many things in the past, may they affect me, will they come bothering me? So we have those unnecessary attention that you should not attend to. So Sabbasa Sutta is all about your questions today. so so you don't have to attend those things. You have to wisely attend to the present. So protect your mind from defiling. Protect your mind from being not mindful. Okay? If you try to be mindful, if you try to be attentive, if you try to safeguard your mind at the moment without, letting it, you know, defile itself. So that's the most important thing you can do. Then that helps you to attain nibbana. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you know, all you have, if all you have is worry about past and future, so that's not going to work. You should, take care of the present moment, not, letting you declining, not letting you defiling. So that's the thing you have to pay your attention, not the past or the future. How can upholding the five precepts guide us to lessen our craving for worldly pleasures? So yeah, that is about, restraining, right? So we can put it in the restraining part. So what are the five precepts? I am restraining from killing people. I am restraining from stealing. I am restraining from sexual, conduct. I am restraining from telling lies. I am restraining from, taking intoxicant. So you have the answer there, right? You are restraining. So it means that you are kind of on the path of abandoning taints, abandoning defilements by restraining. So five precepts, they are very helpful. Okay, when we talk about restraining, so precepts are about restraining. So that helps a lot. If you follow precept, if you observe precept without breaking, so think about it, how much it is helpful. That is very helpful. So I think that helps.
Okay, Bhante, that's about all the questions we have for today. Okay, thanks for the excellent reply and answer from our speaker, Bhante Samitha Thera, and also the equally good questions posted by our audiences. Okay, a gentle reminder, dear Dhamma friends, our next Dhamma sharing will be on Friday, the 3rd of July 2020 by Bhante Joe Artulo from Canada with the topic Planting the Seed. Okay, so Dhamma friends, do remember to join us again next week, Friday. So before we conclude, we would like to invite Bhante Samitha Thera to share the merits accrued with all the devas and our departed loved one. Bhante.
Okay, let us share merits with the deities and departed relatives. So may they rejoice in merits that we just, acquire and that we transfer to them. May they be well and happy in their capacity. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumodittva chiran rakhantu loka sasanang. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumodittva chiran rakhantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumodittva chiran rakhantu tvang sada. Idamme nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idamme nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idamme nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. May Tripurachim bless you all.
Now we have come to the end of our Dhamma sharing today. On behalf of Buddhist Mahavihara, we'd like to extend our thanks to Bhante Samitha Thera for his time, our generous sponsor, and to all our audiences today. May all beings be well, peaceful, and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.